Hello students, welcome to the course on analog and digital communication systems, and the course code is EC501. This is for BTech 5th semester course for EC students. Myself, Dr. Shurojit Boshak, Assistant Professor of EC Department, Guru Nanak Institute of Technology, Kolkata. So let us start lecture number 6 from the third module, pulse modulation, and the topic is line coding. So first we need to know why line coding is required or what is line coding. Line coding means before transmission, digital data is converted into some suitable formats. That is called line codes. That suitable formats are called line codes. So we should know first why line coding is required or why some particular suitable data formats are required. So there are various techniques that are used to convert the analog signals to digital signals. But the other way of obtaining digital data is from the source, such as computers. The information from such a source is inherently discrete in nature. If such a discrete signal is transmitted over a band limited channel, then the signal gets dispersed. This causes the pulses to overlap and cause distortion. Such a distortion is called inter-symbol interference. So in order to avoid this, we should not transmit the discrete signals as it is in the transmission medium. This data is first converted into a PAM suitable format and then transmitted over a communication channel. The various formats that are used is called as line codes. I am showing you an example. So in that way, this is a digital data. You can generate the data using some source coding techniques such as PCM, delta modulation, or adaptive delta modulation, or directly you can generate the data from a digital source like computer. Now these data cannot be transmitted directly over a communication channel because there may be a chance that the signals are overlap and cause distortion. As I already mentioned that this type of distortion is called inter-symbol interference. So what should I do? Before transmission, the signal sends an encoder which converts into some particular suitable data formats, these formats like that. There are have some standard data formats and then transmitted over a communication channel. Similarly, a decoder is present in the receiving circuit which decodes the line coding signal into the corresponding binary digits and then sends to the receiver. So this is the basic concept of line coding. Now move to the properties. Before going to the formats, various formats of line coding, we should know some properties of line coding, and based on these properties, we will judge which type of line coding is better or have some advantage, disadvantages like that. So what are the properties? First property is the transmission bandwidth. For a line code, the transmission bandwidth must be as small as possible. Second property is the power efficiency. Transmitted power for a given line code should be as small as possible. Third property is the error detection and correction ability. It must be possible to detect and preferably correct the detection error. At least detection is desired. Next is the favorable power spectral density. It is desirable to have zero power spectral density at omega equal to 0. That means DC. At DC term, it is desirable to have 0 PST. Since AC coupling and transformers are used at the repeaters, significant power in low frequency components causes DC wander in the pulse stream when AC coupling is used. Next is the adequate timing content. So it should extract timing from pulses. And the final and the last property is the transparency. It is very much important. Transparency means transparent. It should be clear. So it must be possible to transmit a digital signal correctly regardless of the pattern of ones and zeros. So these are the 6 properties, and based on these 6 properties, we will judge which type of line codes are more advantageous. So now we should move. What are the different types of line codes are present? So line coding, mainly 4 types of line codings are present. They are called unipolar, polar, bipolar, and split phase Manchester coding. So these are the 4 types of line coding are present, and the top 3, that is unipolar, polar, and bipolar, are further divided into return to 0 and non-return to 0. So that means unipolar formats are 2 types: unipolar NRZ and unipolar RZ. Then polar RZ, polar NRZ. Similarly for bipolar, again bipolar RZ and bipolar NRZ. So first of all, you should know what is the difference between return to 0 and non-return to 0. So here red line represents NRZ waveform and blue lines represent RZ waveform. For the bit sequence 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 0. Non-return to 0 means the pulse exists the full bit interval, whereas return to 0 means the pulses will return to 0 at half of the bit interval. That means, say if the bit time is TB, so for energetic signal, the pulse exists for full TB, for a full TB. But for RZ signal, at TB by 2, it will return to 0. Clear? So this is the difference between non-return to 0 and return to 0. Say it is in case of, I am giving the example for a pulse, say 1, for a bit 1. And in case of 0, it is 0. So let's go for first unipolar format. Unipolar means single polarity. Unipolar, it has a single polarity. When the bit sequence is 1, then only a positive pulse is arises. Say its voltage is plus V, and when 0 comes, bit 0 comes, then no pulse, that is 0. So unipolar signaling, it is like a on off, on off, on off. So that is why it is called on off signaling. Then unipolar, again two types. One is return to 0, unipolar return to 0, URZ, and unipolar non-return to 0, UNRZ. So for a bit, say 1 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 0 0. What is the waveform of unipolar RZ? So RZ means at TB by 2, it will return to 0. And unipolar, as it is the unipolar, that means 0 is represents nothing, like a 0. So if symbol 1 is transmitted, if the bit is 1, then xt is V. For t is belongs to 0 to TB by 2. And TB by 2 to TB, xt is 0. Clear? And if symbol 0 is transmitted, then xt is 0 for the full bit interval, that is the t belongs to 0 to TB. Okay. Next is unipolar NRZ, non-return to 0. So in case of non-return to 0, that means the pulse exists for full TB. So if symbol 1 is transmitted, then xt is equal to V, where t belongs to 0 to TB. And if symbol 0 is transmitted, then xt is equal to 0 for t belongs to 0 to TB. So unipolar, that means it has a single polarity. Next is the polar format. Polar format means it has a positive and negative polarity. So 1 is represented, say, by a pulse, say, plus V, and 0 is represented by a negative pulse. So 1 is represented in polar format, 1 is represented by a positive pulse, and 0 is represented by a negative pulse. Say, and again, polar is two type, polar RZ and polar NRZ. So in case of polar RZ, RZ means half of the bit interval the pulse will exist. So say let's for 1, the pulse is at TB by 2, it will return to 0 up to this. And from here 0 start. So again 0 is the negative pulse and it will exist for TB by 2. So for TB by 2 it will exist. Then again for 1 same way 1 it will exist for TB by 2 and rest TB by 2 is 0. And similarly for the pulse of 0 a negative pulse is present and which lasting for TB by 2. So at TB by 2 it will return to 0. So this is all about polar RZ. So in case of polar RZ, if symbol 1 is transmitted, then xt is equal to plus V for t belongs to 0 to TB by 2 and xt is equal to 0 for t belongs to TB by 2 to TB. Similarly, if symbol 0 is transmitted, then xt is equal to minus V for t belongs to 0 to TB by 2 and xt is equal to 0 for t belongs to TB by 2 to TB. Okay. Next is the polar NRZ. Same signal, so polar signaling. So a positive and negative pulse both are applied for bit 1 and 0. And as it is NRZ, that means the pulse exists for full bit interval, that is TB, say. So in that case, say if symbol 1 is transmitted, then xt is equal to plus V where t belongs to 0 to TB. And if symbol 0 is transmitted, then xt is equal to minus V where t belongs to 0 to TB. Next is the bipolar format. So already we understand about unipolar and polar format. So next is the bipolar format. So in bipolar format, how 1 and 0 can be represented. So in case of unipolar, already we know that 1 is represented by plus V, a positive pulse. Unipolar, that means a positive pulse is applied for the representation of binary bit 1, and for 0 is nothing, 0. In case of polar signaling, both positive pulse and negative pulse is applied for the representation of 1 and 0. Now, how bipolar can be achieved? How a signal can be represented in bipolar format? Any idea? Okay. In bipolar format, say it is first one is the bipolar NRZ, non-return to 0. So first one, as it is full TB, a positive pulse is applied for first one, then 0 is 0, DC level 0. Then next one is the negative pulse. Then 0. Then next one is the positive pulse. Then after that 1 is negative pulse. So alternative 1 at the positive, they are the opposite polarity. That means the alternative 1, they are in the opposite polarity. Similarly for bipolar RZ, again just RZ, by applying the concept of RZ, that means pulse exists only for TB/2. So for the case of first one, it is say plus V and it exists for TB/2, then 0 is 0, then 1 is the negative. Then next one here, C, is the positive, then next one is negative. So alternative 1, they are the opposite polarity. That is the concept of bipolar signaling. That is why bipolar signaling or bipolar energy is called, again another name, which is alternate mark inversion, AMI, alternate mark inversion. That means alternative 1, they are inverted. That means they are the opposite polarity. That is why bipolar signaling is called again AMI coding. That means say first one is the positive polarity, then next one is the negative. Then next one is the positive polarity. Then next one is the negative polarity. So alternative 1, they are the opposite polarity. Alternate mark inversion. That is why it is called AMI. Next is the split phase Manchester coding. So first you should know in Manchester coding how a symbol 1 or a symbol 0 is represented. Say it is a symbol 1. Then it starts from the positive, say A volt, at TB/2 or at half of the bit interval, it returns to the negative. So for if symbol 1 is transmitted, then xt is equal to plus A for t belongs to 0 to TB/2, half TB. And next is the minus A for t belongs to TB/2 to TB. And the next half is the minus A. And for the case of symbol 0, it starts from the negative side. That is from the minus A volt, it starts from the negative, and at TB/2, it goes to the positive pulse. So just reverse. So xt is equal to minus A for t belongs to 0 to TB/2, and it will go for plus A for t belongs to TB/2 to TB. Okay. So using this principle, you can generate the waveform for a bit sequence. Say for bit sequence is 1 0 1 1 0 0. So 1 belongs to here. So that part is the TB. So this part is the TB part. So naturally for 1 at TB by 2, it belongs to the negative side. So for 0, from here starts and it go for at TB by 2, it will go for plus A. So in that way, you can easily draw the Manchester coding waveform. So in Manchester format, if symbol 1 is to be transmitted, then a positive half interval pulse is followed by a negative half interval pulse. I already said it in the last slide. And if symbol 0 is to be transmitted, then a negative half interval pulse is followed by a positive half interval pulse. Hence, for any symbol, the pulse take positive as well as negative values. So, this is in that way we can generate or reproduce any type of line coding formats like unipolar, polar, bipolar, or Manchester coding, as well as NRZ and RZ format. Okay, next I move a very simple questions. Say it is a unipolar NRZ waveform and this is a unipolar RZ waveform. Now I am asking a question that in between unipolar RZ and unipolar NRZ, whose bandwidth is larger? Because from the because there have a property that bandwidth efficient in signal line code should be bandwidth efficient. So whose bandwidth is larger? These two waveforms are in time domain. So actually to find out the bandwidth, we have to determine the power spectral density or the spectrum from where we can determine the bandwidth actually. From time domain waveform, it is not possible to determine the bandwidth. So for the calculation or for the bandwidth calculation, you have to determine the power spectral density or PSD calculation for each of the line codes. So let us start the power spectra of various line codes. So before we move to calculate the power spectra of for a specific line code, first we start a general topology, a general formula how we can calculate the power spectra of each of the line codes. Just I want to discuss the process first. We can represent all the discrete PAM signals in a single expression, that is xt is equal to summation of k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity a k p t minus k tb, where pt is the basic pulse shape, and TB is the bit duration or symbol duration or time bit period, and AK is the coefficient, and the data signaling rate RB is equal to 1 by TB, which is equal to N into Fs. Fs is the sampling frequency, and for N-bit quantizer. Now this XT may be considered as a random process, and each coefficient AK as a random variable. So this coefficient AK can be generated by a discrete stationary random source, which is characterized by the following relation between autocorrelation and ensemble average. That is, Rn tau is equal to expectation of AK into AK minus N. So Rn tau is the autocorrelation function, where E is the expectation operator. Therefore, power spectral density of a PAM signal, say XT, is, say SF is the power spectral density, which is equal to 1 by TB P mod of PFS square summation of N equal to minus infinity to plus infinity Rn tau e to the power minus j 2 pi NFTB, where PF is the Fourier transform of the basic pulse shape PT. Okay, let us start to calculate the PSD of unipolar energy format. For simplicity, let us assume that zeros and ones are equally likely to happen or have the equal probability. That means probability of AK is equal to 0 is same as the probability of AK is equal to 1, which is half, 1 by 2. So first you have to determine here, see, first you have to determine the autocorrelation function Rn tau, which is expectation of AK into AK minus N. So for N equal to 0, because it is a summation of over N equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. So for each term you should calculate the Rn tau portion, autocorrelation function. So for in first we calculate it for N equal to 0. So which is Rn tau is equal to expectation of AK square, AK into AK minus N. So N is 0. So which is AK square. So AK is either 0 or 1. The variable is either it is 0 or 1. If it is 0, then for unipolar format, the voltage is 0. So expectation, that means here AK square, amplitude square, which is multiplied by its probability. So 0 square into half plus, it may be 1. So if it is 1, then the amplitude is plus A. So A square into half. So it is a square by 2. Now, for n not equal to 0, or say better n equal to 1, it is, say, n not equal to 0, it is ak into ak minus n, or say if it is n equal to 1, say ak into ak minus 1. That means present bit and next previous bit. Ak minus 1, that means the previous bit. So last two, so 2 bits. So for the binary case, there are 4 possible combinations of 2 bits. These are 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, or 1, 1. So if it is 0, 0 pulse, then their product of amplitude is 0. If it is 0, 1, then again their product is 0, because 0 is 0 and 1 is plus a, so it is 0. Then 1, 0, again 0. Then 1, 1, whose amplitude is a, so it is a square. And all symbols must have the equal probability, so all are 1 by 4. So in that way, Rn tau is equal to expectation of ak into ak minus n. So it is 3 into 0 into 1 by 4 plus a square by 4. So it will be a square by 4. Therefore, Rn tau autocorrelation function for n equal to 0, it is a square by 2. And for n not equal to 0, it is a square by 4. Now, we should move for the calculation of power spectral density SF, which was actually SF is equal to 1 by TB PF square summation of Rn tau e to the power minus j 2 pi NF TB. So therefore, 1 by TB PF square. Next is the for n equal to 0, it is a square by 2 into e to the power term, e to the power 0 should be 1. And for n not equal to 0, a square by 4 e to the power minus j 2 pi n f TB. And for n, it is valid for n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, and obviously n not equal to 0, because for n equal to 0 term already I write here, which is a square by 2. Now, as I already mentioned, that PF is the Fourier transform of the basic pulse PT, which is basically a square wave form. So Fourier transform of a square wave form, what does the Fourier transform for a square wave form? The Fourier transform for a square wave form is basically a sinc pulse, and which is basically a TB square into sinc square FTB. So this term is the Fourier transform P. Actually, PF is equal to TB into sinc pulse, sinc FTB. So PF square. So it will TB square sinc square FTB and 1 by TB as it is remain. Now in the inner part of the bracket. So it is a square by 4, I am right here, plus n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, a square by 4 into e to the power minus j 2 pi nftb. So that means zero term we incorporated here the term for n equal to 0 and exclude the term. So that is why it comes a square by 4. Next, just simply break down each term. So first term is a square tb by 4 sin square ftb. First term a square, here see tb by 4 sin square ftb, and the second term is a square tb by 4 sin square ftb into summation of n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity e to the power minus j 2 pi nftb, and 1 by tb e to the power minus j 2 pi nftb is equal to 1 by tb into summation of n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, which is basically a impulse delta function f minus n tb. So it sum of e to the power term is replaced by a 1 by tb into sum of a delta function. So therefore, power spectral density of unipolar energy pattern is first term as it is a square tb by 4 sin square ftb, and the second term is a square by 4 tb cancel sin square ftb into summation of a delta function f minus ntb. So this is the power spectral density of U energy. Now, if we want to calculate the PST of URZ, what should I change? Just for URZ, RZ pattern, that is at TB, it will at TB by 2, it will return to 0. The pulse is returned to 0. The best this is the basic principle of return to 0. So following this, that part is a square TB by 16. Why 16? Because here it is TB square. TB square, that means TB by, in the denominator part is 4 is come, and again a square by 4. So here 4 and 4, it is 16. So a square TB by 16 into sin square FTB by 2. Similarly here plus a square by 16. See, into sin square FTB by 2. But remember that here this part is not here for TB by 2 because it comes from the e to the power term. And this e to the power term actually comes from the Fourier transform. So this e to the power term exists due to the Fourier transform. So only we change the pulse shape, that is PF square is TB by 2 whole square sin square FTB by 2. So only we change the pulse shape. Okay. In the next class, we'll draw the spectrum of unipolar RZ and unipolar NRZ and discuss the advantages and disadvantages based on the properties. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let us stop here.